Hey everybody, Nick here, and tonight we're gonna do a live Ask the Nick. Now, first off, though, I actually have to. I've really been liking having the comment feed just off camera here on my tablet. It just makes it a lot easier. But unfortunately, that requires me to be not a brilliant man for a minute there, as I am, pardon me, tuning into that. Let's see here. No, chat, give me chat. There we go. Live chat. Alrighty, beautiful. Now I just need to cover this up so that I do not see myself motioning gesturefully. That's not even a word. And we can go on ahead and start with the fun. Now, first off, though, actually, one of the common questions I got, I recently released my excellent pocket knife checklist. This is a thing, certainly. It is a thing that I did. I think my lens is dirty here. Here we go. But one of the questions I've gotten is, well, Nick, come on, no knife actually matches this, and so does it mean that a knife is bad if if it doesn't meet those criteria? Well, no, not really. Let's take a look at a couple of knives that I really like from my collection: the Delica, the 452, and the Sleesh Bowie. So secure lockup, all three of them. Yep. Reasonable lockup percentage? Well, yeah, absolutely 100%. This guy's like 20%. Edge can't be touched when closed. Yep, absolutely. Let's see here. Adequate detent. Yep. Sharpened edge doesn't. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Blade doesn't rattle when closed. Yep, centered when closed. Abso-freaking-lutely. No unintended gaps or voids. I'm just going to check real quick against the light. Yep, no gaps. There are no gaps over here, and these are all original designs. Stock thickness-wise, the 452 is actually pretty okay. Sleesh Bowie's a little thicker, but it's got a nice tall blade, so whatever. Not a big deal. Good sharpening choils on the Bowie, not on the Delica, sadly. And the ZT has a so-so sharpening choil. It's right there in the middle there. So yeah, that's excellent there. No fullers, which is great. No hardware in the slicing path. Excellent steel. XHP is fine. VG10. It's not quite hitting the excellent spot. But all of the rust resistance is okay. Length and whatnot are good. No sharp edges anywhere. That's good, except for the sharp edge. Clip hot spots. Yeah, Sleesh Bowie's hot spotting a little bit there. Yeah, all kinds of different things. But the thing is, what I'm trying to get across to you here, and I'm not going to go through the whole list because you guys can kind of do that on your own. What I'm trying to get across to you here is that these are three knives that I love, that I really genuinely believe to be some of the better options out there for everyday carry, and yet even those are not checking everything on this list. So what that list is not is just a list of things that you have to do right in order to be considered a decent knife. No, there are lots of great knives that don't hit all these points, but they're things that makers, at least in my estimation, should be checking about, should be thinking about, and maybe might be helpful. But yeah, so that's kind of where I wanted to start, because that would let a bunch of questions start up there on the screen there. People are asking me questions. Big Fact says, hey, what watch are you wearing? Right at the moment, Breitling Aerospace. Although actually, this little guy has gotten a little wrist time lately. Yeah, I know it's not set right. This is a Seiko 5 SNK 809. This watch is the most hated review I have ever done. In terms of downvotes, this one wins by a mile. And that's because I said that this watch is a piece of crap, that this watch is why quartz watches were invented, to go through and destroy pieces of crap like this, which are just not accurate, that are not good watches for the price. And so people always said, though, Nick, oh, come on, Nick, you're being unfair. You got a bad one. Yours was magnetized. Yours had, freaking a curse on it. Voodoo, something like that. So I got another one. Guess what? Also sucks. I mean, seriously, this is running 42 seconds a day fast. That's just not okay. And so, unfortunately, my final verdict on this guy is probably going to be the same, is that out of the box, this is not a very good watch. Absolutely 100%. But the big question is, out of the box, yes. But a lot of people say, well, Nick, come on, you can regulate it. You can do it yourself. And in fact, that's true. In the back here on the escapement, come here, there we go. On the escapement, there's a little lever to change that. And in fact, I have picked up, for the purposes of this, and have just thrown the bits all throughout the box here, because they don't actually press fit in, because this is Chinese, cheaply made stuff here. I have bought a case back wrench, and I am, in fact, hi there, little case back guy. I am going to try and take this guy, pop the case off of there, and regulate it myself. It might work. It might go terribly, terribly wrong. Frankly, with this watch, I'm not even sure how I could make it keep worse time. But at the same time, I'm going to do my best. So my goal here is actually to see whether with a little bit of home regulation, with tools that you can get for like $8 or $9, this $60 piece of crap could be a $60 watch that's okay. And this is the kind of thing that's afforded to me by my patrons who make it possible for me to buy something that's $60 and then pop it open, void the warranty, mess around with it for a little while, and try something crazy. So yeah, there you go. That's that's this little guy, and that's what's been on my wrist at least a little bit, because there's a lot to like about it if it weren't a piece of crap. So there you go. One other quick note, though. The chat messages are coming by very, very, very quickly. And so if you ask your question and I don't answer it, after a couple of minutes, feel free to repost. And if you do a super chat, a donation sort of question, and I missed that, please, everybody let me know if I've missed one. Because those are, I want to be able to answer those. And when people, spend the money and help me out, that's something I really want to support. So, anyways, there you go. Let's look at some other questions that have come on here. Let's see here. Nick, the large Shabazz checks all your knife boxes. It says Gerardo Pietrantoni. So, Gerardo, the large Shabazz is a very nice knife. It's got a lot of really good stuff going for it. And on the checklist, there are a lot of things that are very, very good, with it. And particularly in the maintenance and long-term care thing, you're going to be hard-pressed to have a knife. If somebody said, Nick, I need you to buy a knife right now that's going to be good in 3 generations, that's still going to be working beautifully, a large Shabazz is where I would send them 100% of the time. It is a really, really nice knife in that domain, and especially with that kind of thing, absolutely great. But there are still some issues for it that are a little bit frustrating at times. For instance, the easy deployment. Well, I mean, yeah, you're always using the thumb. It's the, stock thickness a little hot. But look, by and large, they're doing a lot of good stuff there. There are some hot spots. There are some other issues. But the large Shabazz is a great knife. One can absolutely 100% say that. So there you go. 760 RU Dog is saying, any word on when Booz Blade's new knife is coming in? So Booz Blades, Bill Booz, is the guy behind the Mini Arrow, which is right here, and the Booz Blade Smoke, which is right here. Actually, both of these are prototypes. And he has just announced a brand new knife not too long ago on his Instagram. I don't know anything about that. I am not him. And in fact, I'm hoping that he's going to send me one of those guys because, oh my God, does it look cool? But I don't know anything in terms of absolute timelines. So, I wish I could help you there. But do check Booz Blade's Instagram. That's BOOS. Not like booze as in hitting the booze after a long week at work. That's depressing. I go to alcoholism first. Whatever. Anyways, that's something to keep an eye out for, though, because it is absolutely a gorgeous freaking design. Let's see here. What are people asking me? What do I think of the new Koenig knives Goblin, and what am I most looking forward to from Blade? So Steve Rasmussen, thank you, by the way, for your long-term support. Okay, first off, the Koenig Goblin. Looks like a really neat knife. I'm very, very curious about it. They've got pictures of it up on their Instagram. It's going to be, I think, formally released at Blade. My biggest worry with that knife is that the stock thickness is really, really big. And so I'm worried that it might cut me open when it's closed, or that it's just going to not slice all that well because the stock is really thick. I'm hoping that that's just an artifact of the images I've seen, and that when I get it in hand, it's going to be like, oh my God. But, yeah. That's kind of my worry there. But I think if it's done to the same quality level that the other Koenig knives are, you know what, I think it's going to be a really, really great piece. So that's good. In terms of what am I looking forward to at Blade, I'm not going to be at the Blade show this year. I had this fantasy, like from last night at around 9 o'clock to this morning, well, this afternoon at about 3, that I might be able to sneak off, that I might be able to, buy a last-minute plane ticket. This is me running to the airport here, see running, and then I'd be able to go to the airport, get a hotel, and, spend at least maybe the Saturday at Blade show. But then work came and just crapped all over my plans there, and so unfortunately I will not be at Blade. What I am looking forward to, though, is seeing a bunch of new releases from companies like ZT, because ZT had a snoozer of a lineup so far, and I'm hoping they're going to come back around and really wow us, because so far, yeah, not so much. And what else? Maybe Spyderco will drop something new. At the very least, they'll have a prototypes case that if you are nearby, you should absolutely go and check out, although you can't take pictures and whatnot. But that's kind of what I'm looking for at Blade Show, is new releases. Looking forward to seeing some excellent new stuff that may not be there. Adam Green, thank you very much, Adam, asked, what do I think of the Tudor watch's Pelagos? The Pelagos is a beautiful watch in a couple of different domains. It is all titanium, so it is really freaking lightweight, which I love. It has incredible lume. The entire face of it is lumed along with the entire bezel. It is a lume monster, which I love. I love the snowflake hands. It has a date. It has a quick adjust clasp with like an elastic adjustment thing. So at a certain point, you never actually even need to do the adjustment here. This has a quick adjust as well, but of a different variety here. But that's just great. My biggest issue with the Pelagos is that it's just kind of huge. And also that the dial is just basically black and white paint. Not a big fan of that. I really wish that they'd done something to make the dial a little bit extra. That they'd maybe put some, silver edges around the... Look at the Black Bay. Look at the finishing of that dial. Then look at the Pelagos. And it's a little disappointing. The Pelagos is absolutely a tool watch. But I like my tool watches with at least a little bit of bling. I mean, like the high polish on these numerals on the aerospace here. This is kind of a tool watch. I mean, let's face it. I'm a tool and I'm wearing it, so it's a tool watch. But that's kind of my feeling on the Pelagos. It is a great freaking watch. I love it. And, if somebody handed it to me, I'd probably... Well, I obviously had freaking cherish it, but at the same time, it's never quite gotten to the front of my list as a result of that. So, there you go. Great question. Let's see here. Bulldog71SS asks me, my girl's going to buy a knife for my birthday. She's given me a $200 budget. What are some flippers that are top-notch, classy, and have a wow factor for $200 or less? Top-notch, classy, wow factor for $200 or less. My immediate thought is actually ZT450. This is and especially if you can get like one of the 450 CF versions with the uncoated blade, those are freaking beautiful. I think they're pretty classy. A little murdery for classy, but you know what? Classy people... Yeah, it's a little dark. But that's a really nice choice. And they make great flipper actions. It's an easy-to-maintain knife. It's a great long-term piece. There were a lot of really good choices there out of that 450 lineup from ZT. And actually, the 452 is only about $10 more. I'm not so sure that classy's on the table when it's this freaking big. But you know what? You can be a really classy axe murderer and carry one of these guys. Actually, again, that's not fair. But yeah, so there's that. The Ferrum Forge Gent is a nice option. What else is really good? Flipper in that price range, guys. Feel free to throw suggestions in the chat here. I'd send you to the Booze Blade Smoker Mini Aero if there was if they were available at all. Who else is worth a damn here? If you're willing to go past Flipper, there's the 940 1501 from Benchmade. There's a variant of this little guy over here, the Benchmade 940, but it's in 20 CV with a nice blue G10. Benchmade Valet, especially Shinola version. It's, again, not a Flipper. The North Arm Skaha, too, is a really great choice. Let me pull mine out here. Come here, Skaha. Skaha, that's a good option. The problem with this guy, the only reason I didn't, jump to it first is that although it's an incredible flipper, it is one of the best flippers in my collection by a mile. Well, it can't be one of the best by a mile. Actually, I guess it could if the relative did. I digress. But this isn't, a super classy gentleman's knife. It's a really nice little tool here. So Skaha is a really nice choice there. But yeah, that's those are some very good choices that you get there. The Skahas are, and the problem with these guys, though, is that it takes a while to get one. You have to go on the list, basically, and the only reason I have mine that quickly is because I went on the list really early. So, there you go. Let's see here. And also, of course, if you're willing to go non-flipper, this is not a bad choice either. This is the Spyderco Carbon Fiber Native 5. This is a really nice knife in S90V. There's a lot to love here, and it is very classy. It is very excellent. It's a great worker, etc. So, yeah, that's a good choice. I appreciate that very much. Let's see here. What other good questions are popping up here? Planning to add weight considerations to the excellent pocket knife list, says J. Michael R. Reed. So, J. Michael R. I assume that's how you pronounce your first name. Whatever. I appreciate the question. No, not really. So the thing is, on my little pocket knife checklist here, I've done my best to do things that are just kind of, and I failed at some level, absolutely. But things that are generally speaking, I would always advise. Like, for instance, a knife should never have horizontal or vertical blade play. Just period. Never. There's no way. And similarly, a knife should always be able to slide easily into and out of the pocket and have enough retention. But weight can be something that can be a positive or it can be a negative. If I were to say it needs to weigh under 2 ounces, that would disqualify a lot of very, very excellent, more heavy knives just on the basis that they're a little bit heavy. I mean, if I say it has to be under 2 ounces, then the Grimsmo Norseman becomes not an excellent knife, and it is absolutely an excellent knife. So, there's a reason that I have ounces per inch on my my spreadsheet, nickshabazz.com/reviews, but yeah, that's a thing, and that's the reason I haven't included that one on there. Let's see here. What other good questions? Thoughts on G-Shock, says Graham Howe. He's talking about the Casio G-Shock lineup. So Casio makes really incredible watches on the budget end and on the quartz end. Frankly, even on the non-budget end. Hold on. Casio. So, Casio F90, F108 here. This is sort of a very cheap version of a G-Shock watch. The Casio ProTrek PRW 3000T. And then, of course, your Casio Oceanus. The watch so nice I bought it twice. This is a really, really nice choice, but Casio also has their G-Shock line, which is entirely digital, which is why it's not quite as appealing to me. I like things like passive chemical lube, such that if you cover it up, you can still see, well, it's not well charged because it's been dark here. But I like things like that. But there is no doubt that for absolute robustness, frankly, the G-Shocks are really hard to beat. You're not going to do a lot better in terms of a watch that can take anything than you will with a good G-Shock. There's a reason they're very, very common in the military, etc. That's kind of that's a thing. So, yeah, there you go. Soviet Russia asks, what is your opinion in the M4 Native? Well, in Soviet Russia, the M4 Native has an opinion on you. That's right, Smirnoff inversion. Careful, kids, that's an antique. Anyways, the M4 Native is from Blade HQ. They've just released a version of the Spyderco Native, except the blade is an M4 steel, which is one of the very, very best steels out there. One of my very favorites, and the handles are in puke green G10. The ugliest G10 color, frankly, imaginable. And I know that it's not actually a color. It is the absence of all other colors. Much in the same way that a vampire is the absence of a soul. You miss it dearly. But unfortunately, if that were any other color, frankly, I would be very, very tempted by that lineup. The one good thing that the puke green G10 has going for it is that it is... well, very, 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 very easy to dye. So you can, well, like, not in terms of to expire, but to like, dye it a color. Like, it is very easy to dye. But that's more of a question about philosophy, etc. But anyways, it is very easy to dye this puke green G10 because you can just use, like, a RIT dye from the store. I keep meaning to make a video about this one of these days. And, in fact, the moment that they release the Spyderco Shaman at M4... oh, hells yes. That is I'll be buying one of those and I'll be dyeing it just as quickly as I can, or maybe I'll just swap on the black G10 from this guy and call it a day. But either way, so I love the M4, and I like the Native pattern a lot, but they lost me with the puke green G10, so it doesn't quite go to that level of just, like, grabbing you by the dangly bits and leading you into the purchase that some things have. So, yeah. Let's see here. Mr. Bubbles says, why do you hate the Ferrum Forge Falcon when it is the same thing as the Wayfarer 247? What? Bubbly, I'm not following you there. So the Ferrum Forge Falcon, I don't hate. I think it's a fine knife, but it's got a bunch of ergonomic issues, and it didn't fit the hand particularly well. It's a small thing. I have no idea where you... That's like saying, why do you hate Michael Bay when it's the same thing as your wife? And by the way, I did not marry Michael Bay. That is not a true statement. I don't freaking get it. So, there you go. that was a question. We'll put it that way. Toiling asks, what's going on with the Viper Shop review, Nick? The Viper Shop review is coming. That's one of those many reviews that I'm like, oh God, I need to put that out this week, but I also want to put out these others. And it may even drop as soon as, actually, I'll probably wait till after Blade. But it's a system that is very good, but not quite as good as the KME or, frankly, the Edge Pro in my estimation. It is a young system. It still needs a little bit more work, and it needs some improvement. I know that the maker is working on it. He is working to address some of those concerns, but right now, there was no concern whatsoever when I switched back to the KME. And in fact, I used the KME, was it Tuesday, Wednesday, to put a nice mirror edge on this on my Spidey shaft, which I did buy again because I am hashtag not a brilliant man. So let's see here. What good questions do we have here? Any thoughts or plans to review new smaller Wee knives? Jeremy Russell, yes, absolutely. Wee knives with torque screws are definitely on the table. And I do want to take a look at some of Elijah Isham's new work. I want to take a look. There were a bunch of stuff. I'm just right now at a point where I have so much going on in my life that I'm just like drowning. I have a bunch of knives on the table that need reviewing, and so I'm just like, when people are asking me, Nick, can I send you X, can I send you Y, it's like, I want, but if I had, 4 more days in the weekend and more time to put things in the pocket, I would absolutely do it, but I'm just missing some things, and this is why it's important to have a healthy, thriving reviewer group out there, so more people can see more knives. It doesn't help it doesn't help the world if everybody reviews the Spyderco Chaperone, then everybody reviews the Skaha, then everybody reviews X. I mean, some duplication's great. Trust but verify, as Frankie and Bird, as well as Ronald Reagan, as well as a Russian proverb would say. But at the same time, I like that there are so many people out there doing things, doing things like disassemblies, doing things like knife reviews, that it's a great choice. So yeah. Let's see here. Night Squat says, you bring us joy, don't let us bring you stress. Night Squats, thank you. I appreciate that, and that's kind of my philosophy for the channel here, is I'm trying to back things off, not like for the channel overall, but just like right now when I have so damn much going on. I'm looking at a honeymoon at a point coming up here soon, and then potentially a cross-country move. Just saying. That I'm trying to really keep it to a point where I still love it. I want to do enough knives that it's like, okay, this is great, and skip some of the crap that just stresses me out. So, yeah, there you go. People, if you keep asking me whether I'm going to Blade Show or not, well, actually, that won't change anything. I'm not going to Blade Show. But, good question. I really wish I was. That's kind of a thing. JCB67 asks for my true thoughts on the Three Rivers Viator. Viator, or Viator, or whatever the heck you want to say. Whatever knife whatever you want to say it is, it's this little guy right here. This is the carbon fiber Three Rivers Viator. This is a really, really nice knife in a lot of ways. I love to carry this knife. This knife is so freaking nice in the pocket. It's very, very thin. It's very, very slicey. Look at this freaking blade stock, guys. This is a really, really nice knife, and it's a knife that's nice enough that when I got it in for review, I said, you know what, screw it, I'm going to buy it. And I did indeed buy it, and, I have carried it. I don't get a chance to carry it as much as I'd like to, but especially if you're in an area where slip joints are the law, this has got to be the choice. And so this is a really, really nice little knife, especially if you're looking for a slippy. But frankly, even if you're not, it's pretty solid. And that said, I think TRM just on Instagram released a new model, or announced a new model or something, that is like this, I gather, but I think it's a liner lock. Go look at that. Check that out. Let's see. The anonymous reviewer asks, hey, anonymous reviewer, I just got the Kershaw Atmos. I love it. Do you still have yours? I do. Absolutely. Yep, this guy's living right over here. This is just a really nice example of a budget knife, and if you're looking for an inexpensive knife that you can still be really happy about, this is a really good one. Kershaw, this is the best thing they've dropped there. Mark Tudor asks, can I bring the blade to you? That really sounds like something the Mafia would say, like, well, if you don't go to Blade, we're going to bring the blade to you. I know, Mark, that you're not that kind of creepy. Frankly, I hope you know kind of creepy, but yeah, that's a thing. So yeah, the real Donald Trump asks, have I ever reviewed the Kershaw dividend? Bro, watch that. I know you're busy, But, you know, turn off Fox and turn on the channel. Yeah, I got a Kershaw dividend review coming up here soon. Let's see here. The Ace Biblio. It seems like a lot of good for the money, Daddy OEDC says. You're going to be checking one out? Yes, absolutely 100%. There, I got a couple of people offer it, and so I'm going to find a way. Because that's going to be an interesting piece there. 100%. Let's see here. Have I ever handled any ballad songs? Where is my ballad song? Tell me a ballad song. Where'd you go? Oh, come off it. Oh, here it is. Oh, yeah. I got this little guy right here. This is my multi-tool ballad song. Oh, look at that flipping skill right here. If I were going to blade, I would so enter the contest. But, alas, I am not. And I am awful. So there you go. This is the closest, though, to a ballad song I've ever gotten, because if this were a real bally, I'd have already hurt myself like 4 times. So, yeah. Let's see here. Nate Adams asks, why don't you ever change the background in your videos? I don't know that. I've not thought about this. I've not felt like I need to mix things up particularly. I mean, maybe I could. I could absolutely put down, like, some of my very early videos were actually filmed where I'd lay, like, a flannel shirt down before I realized that, because the black background actually has real use, because it makes sure that whatever it is that's on the table tends to pop a little bit. The light, the exposure tends to work well. It's not affecting the white balance, so knives don't look particularly, you know, off color or anything like that. There were a lot of good reasons for this background. I might switch it up someday if I find something I like better, but as it stands, every time I've tried something else, I've liked this more. So there you go. Let's see here. Flores Quapers asks, Quapers? I don't freaking know how to say your name, but do you know of any websites on which you can search for knives by features like clip placement, handle material, etc.? NickShabazz.com/reviews. There is a handle material column you can sort by. There is a, I believe there's a left side, right side column you can sort by. You got lots of freaking options over at NickShabazz.com/reviews, and it's for free. So there you go. What else do we have here? What do we got? Thought the flannel was my bed, says Dave Glana. No, I'm not quite Canadian enough to have a flannel bed, but it is pretty excellent. Jack Hansen says, Little Bitch Hands review. Alas, I can't really, I've been EDCing these guys for like 30 years, so, you know, I'm pretty attached to them. I don't think I could give an impartial review. Oh, God, I didn't even think of the pun there. Pretty attached to my hands? Huh? Okay. Yeah, that's awful. Let's see here. What do you do to make your delicate clips so shiny? Hold on just a second there, buddy. So Michigan, freaking Michigan, has exactly 2 settings. One of those settings is really freaking cold, and the other setting is really freaking hot and humid. And we have just switched. Like, the other day, it was like 50 degrees and rainy and crappy, and now it's like 90 degrees and freaking humid. It's like, can I get spring? Can I get a little spring, Michigan? No, I can't. So now Michigan is back trying to kick my ass again, and so I just turned on a fan in an effort to dream that I could feel comfortable. Colin Baker asks, would I be in a movie? Yes. Right now. I guess it's a video, movie, whatever, same thing. Alrighty, back at the ranch. Do a crappy knife review. Oh boy, do I have crappy knives to review. But at the moment, I think I'll stick to the Aston Nicken. But I appreciate that very much. Okay. You think all the Midwest is feeling that weather? Yeah, Steve, I know you feel me, unfortunately. It's a thing. Nick, please help me source a Graham Razel folder. I've got a Ring Razel, in the works from another maker. That's kind of weird. But I'm trying to find the Graham folder. Unfortunately, good luck. These guys are really, really hard to find. I like mine a lot. I'm not carrying it that often lately because exactly of the Spyderco Chaperone. Like every situation in which I feel like, wow, I want something big and beatery and hard usey, the Chaperone ends up winning out over the Razel. And so this guy has kind of become a safe queen, which is a little bit sad for me, but at the same time, it is still a really nice knife, and they are still really hard to find. So, you know, it's a great piece. Absolutely 100%. I wish I could help you. I keep telling freaking John Graham, like, make more mid-techs. Dr. ZT licensed the design. Good God, guys. But he doesn't, so it is what it is. Let's see here. What else? Bunch of people are asking me to send them the gram. Nice try. Cricket Caligo, JCB97 says, the Cricket Caligo. So I actually bought a Cricket Caligo, and it literally had no detent. Like you turn it over and it falls open, that kind of thing. It just did not flip. It was freaking awful. So I just sent it home, and I'm just like, no, sorry, you're done. Case closed. I know it was just a bad QC piece, but if they're shipping me crap, they're shipping everybody crap, and no, I'm not going to give them the advertisement off of that. Let's see here. Shotgun Bowen asks, have I seen the Benchmade 756 midi pocket rocket for $400? I did see that. I was really interested in it. Then I saw the price point. For $400, you are in the vicinity of the Alambic Busku, which is my knife of the year for 2017. This is an incredible piece. That guy, I'm sure he's going to be okay. But I can't see doing that much money when this guy is that much money as well. Well, to be fair, with the extras, this was a little bit pricier still, but yeah, I just don't, I don't freaking see it. So, whatever, Benchmade, have fun. Sama Hajar asks, why don't I review any Best Tech knives? I've actually reviewed 2 Best Tech knives. They just haven't gone live yet. But I want to clarify something. Every time that a brand new brand comes out, and they all do when they make a splash, because they sell they'll sell a couple of knives that are really, really great, and then sometimes the quality tanks, sometimes it stays good. But the problem is that every time some new brand comes and craps out a couple of knives, everybody starts asking, Nick, why haven't you reviewed all of these brand new knives? And this week it's freaking like Tuya, and last week it was Two Sons or whatever, Best Tech, etc. The problem is that I just only have so much time in the day, and I only have so much time that I want to dedicate to reviewing knives that may be awful and may be great. And so unfortunately, I end up looking past a lot of those guys, because I'm sure some of them are great, and I'm sure some of them are going to be around next weekend, but it just doesn't make sense for me to spend 3 days reviewing a freaking Tuya knife when, Tuya may be folded into Steademon or whoever the heck actually owns them in 2 weeks or something. Is that fair? No, probably not. But it is probably, it's the way that I have to do this to survive. Let's see here. This guy does stuff. Thank you very much. Says, do you have any knives in my permanent collection that I won't sell because I know I can never get another released easily? Yeah, there were a couple of ones like that. Obviously this little guy here is a one-of-one sort of piece. This is the closest I have to a true custom knife in that it is completely, it's engraved. No one else has made knives like this. And frankly, I don't think anyone else will. This is just a beautiful freaking piece. I know I couldn't get another one, so I don't want to sell it. The Spyderco Sleesh Bowie at this point is actually getting very hard to replace. And so I don't want to sell that, partly because I've already freaking done it once. Similarly, my Millet Torrent, I love. I could probably replace it maybe if I asked Millet really nicely. But I'm going to be hard-pressed to find one I like as much as this guy. And then... anything else that I wouldn't sell because it's irreplaceable? I mean, at some level, this Norseman. I did sell my original Norseman to a good friend of mine who is a Norseman collector par excellence. But then, he made me an offer on this, and it came from a friend. It was incredible freaking, oh my God. He was so freaking kind to me on this one that I can't look at this without thinking about, wow, he's a great guy. And so this has a sentimental value to it, I think even beyond what my Rask does as a result. And mind you, Rasks are really hard to find as well. So this is another example of a knife that I really struggle to do, to replace, because frankly, the story behind it can't be replaced. So that's important. And I think that'll about do it for that question, but really good question, thank you. Paul X asks, do you think I'll ever switch to a smartwatch? I like my Samsung S3 Frontier. Keep up the good works, thanks. He's trying to forgive me for getting into fountain pens. I'm sorry, do not get into fountain pens. Paul, that's a great question. I actually came into actual wristwatches, like high-end mechanical and quartz stuff, from the smartwatch world. I got back into wearing watches because, and by the way, the ring is being resized, so this is just a sterling little replacement guy for the moment. But I started off wearing a Pebble and then a Pebble Steel, then an Apple Watch. And then I realized that for me at least, the smartwatch wasn't entirely healthy because then I am constantly coupled to my email. And I get a lot of freaking emails, a lot of which I just don't want to deal with right now. Or, and at the time it made a lot of sense because I had a lot of stuff going on where it's like if I miss this phone call, there will be real problems. And not just like imaginary, like, oh, well, someone's going to be a little pissed. No, there were going to be freaking problems. And so then it made a lot of sense to have a constant notification machine on my wrist. But I realized at that point, like, wow, it's really handy to always have the time on. But then I also realized I can't trust this thing. The Generation 1 Apple Watch was just not all that great at being a watch. Or frankly, it being a computer. It was just someplace in the middle there. I know smartwatches have gotten better, and at some point in time, it's going to make no sense at all, I think, to wear something like this when you can have a microcomputer here. I mean, the moment we get really good, wrist-mounted microcomputers that I can just kind of type on and something, that this becomes a screen and that becomes fashionable, holy crap, yes, give it to me. But at the same time, right now, no, it's not quite for me. I might do a review, and in fact, I've thought many times about picking up an Apple Watch for a review, just to see if I still feel that way with Gen 4. But, yeah. And as to the Samsung guy, I am firmly in Apple's ecosystem right now. That's not a great thing, I gotta be honest with you. Apple's pissing me off more and more every freaking day I deal with them, but at the same time, it doesn't make as much sense to go that route. So, that's my feelings on smartwatches. I think they're a very good tool for some people who need the notifications, but at the same time, I kind of like the simplicity, the fact that I don't need to charge, etc. All of those things of an actual real watch, meaning a non-smartwatch, a dumb watch, or something like that. So, there you go. Shaka asks, Omega Seamaster, Planet Ocean, or Submariner? For me, Planet Ocean. Submariner is a great watch, absolutely 100%, but I don't like the Cyclops that much, and I don't particularly care for the Maxi-style case. The old subs were a lot more attractive. So that's my feeling, but the sub is a great watch, can't argue with that. The FPM 1357, rather than just any FPM 1357, asks me, Nick, have you ever used a workshop? This is the Ken Onion workshop system by, I think it's just Workshop. Whoever the heck makes it. No, I actually haven't. It's a belt drive knife sharpening system. Pete of Segregated Gear and Outdoors uses one all the time and speaks reasonably well of it. It puts a convex edge on everything, which is not something I necessarily need for my everyday life. And I'm going to be honest here, kind of a snob for the mirror edge polish. So, yeah. But at the same time, one of these days for review, I am going to need to pick one of those guys up and try it out. So there you go. Tyrion has asked, have I considered a hybrid smartwatch, analog plus vibrate notifications? Tyrion, that's a great question. And thank you very much, by the way, FPM. That's a great question because the thing is with those kinds of things, so Citizen makes one, Frederic Constant makes one that's actually mechanical and smart. My problem with those is just that they tend to be like, your watch vibrates and then it tells you that you have an email. Doesn't tell you what the email is. It doesn't let you delete it immediately, which was one of the nice features of the Apple Watch, etc. It doesn't make as much sense to me. If I'm going to be smart, I want to go freaking smart. I want to have a computer on my wrist. But if I want to just wear a watch, I'd rather just wear a watch and not have to worry about extra charging, not worrying about it randomly vibrating, etc. So that's a good question, but yeah. Hold on just a second. There's something weird over here. What the heck is this? Oh, it's a plug. That's right. There's a plug here. Plug. So, right now I'm so sorry, guys. So, if you go to my, I have to plug this because it amuses me. If you go to Shabazz.com, you can find the Nick Shabazz merch store. Couldn't resist. And I've got a bunch of freaking t-shirts up there. We've got Random Jackass and sweatshirts, hoodies, mugs, Not a Brilliant Man, Not a Brilliant Woman, Slice-tacular, Do Not Get Into Watches. By the way, this doesn't tend to work on people. Not a Brilliant Man, Pocket Pecker Flock, and I Am Nick Shabazz shirts. I'm going to wear one to Blade Show. No one will be the wiser. Logo shirts, logo mugs. Also, coming up, we have Not a Brilliant Dad, just in time for Father's Day. If you want to... Well, I don't know what you're saying about your dad there, but that's absolutely an option. But all of that and more is available at Shabazz.com, and it does help to support the channel. So there you go. Sorry, random plug. Yeah, I couldn't cringe harder. My teeth might break. Oh, indeed. I will always get the cringe factor a little bit higher up there. So yeah, Aaron Stone says my kid confirms. Yeah, that could be a thing. Have I ever done ink reviews? Asks Paul X. No, I haven't. The problem with inks is that it's kind of entirely aesthetic. Yeah, there are some inks that have like legit problems, but functionally speaking, it's color on the page. And it's hard to capture the exact color on video, etc. So it just doesn't make that much sense. I mean, the inks that I use on a regular basis are this Aurora Blue Black that I like very much, and then this guy here. This is an Asagao ink here, and yeah, these are great inks, both of them. But, I have a bunch of other inks that I've tried in the past, and they're pretty excellent. Squeak Squeak asks, Spyderco Sleesh Bowie or Spyderco Nirvana? Sleesh Bowie and Nirvana. So both of these are incredible knives. They're very different knives. This one is twice the price. Well, actually, that's not quite true. This one's discontinued, actually. And this particular one is twice the price because it has this beautiful regrind on it, which makes it cut like freaking crazy. So I love this very, very much, but I also love this Sleesh Bowie very, very much. It's kind of an apples and oranges thing. Once the Spyderco Python launches, which is, I think, going to be an incredible piece, because it looks like they've learned a lot from the Nirvana and fixed a lot of the issues, particularly in the blade department, that the Nirvana originally had. I think that's going to be an incredible choice, but for now, I think both of them are really, really solid. Nasohi is calling me a fancy ass, which is, actually, I'm not sure. Nasohi, I'm kind of limited in that because, honestly, it's really hard to see your own ass. I mean, I know it's back there. I'm sitting on it right now, as a matter of fact. And, but if I put it in a mirror, I can't, and I need to use like a selfie stick or something to take belfies. And so I don't really know how fancy it is. I mean, I'm assuming it's relatively fancy. I was, in fact, looking at Rolexes at one point in time this week. The Explorer 1 is tempting me a lot, guys. But I don't know exactly how much it is in terms of the fancitude. So there you go. Let's see here. Duly noticed, life is peachy. TMI says 94 547 slew. Thank you for all the numbers. You are like the ZT of freaking commenters there. But yeah. Belfie, by the way, if you didn't know that, a Belfie is a butt selfie. Just like yeah, well, you'll figure it out. Is that Nirvana actually double the regular price? No, it is. That this Nirvana with the regrind turned out to be about $600. So there you go. But I got it for a lot cheaper because I have very, 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 very generous friends. Let's see here. What are your thoughts on The Last Jedi? I think that it was... it was a lot better than I worried it was going to be, but it was a lot worse than I'd hoped it was going to be. Let's put it that way. I think they did some things well. I think they did some things very, very, very poorly. It didn't make a lot of sense in a lot of situations. It's okay. The Extended Universe books are way better. I'm sorry. Case closed. Problem solved. Are there any knives that I am not proud of liking? Low-grade steel, weird rattle, too tacky, too mall ninja, etc. Not really. I think that there are very, very few knives out there that I really, really, truly don't... No, go away, Z Hunter. Go away. We're not talking about you here. We are not talking about you here. So, no, there is nothing that I'm particularly... no, bad. Bad, Z Hunter, bad. Go back to your room, Z Hunter. Go away. All right, sorry, guys. I hate when they misbehave like that. Let's see here. Have I done any dubbing for cartoons? I have a voice that would be a great voice for some kids' programs. Oh, good God. Imagine a bunch of kids trained on some jackass. That might be problematic. Synthcal Jaws theme intensifies. Let's see here. What beater knife do I recommend on the more budget side? Hold on. Let me move this list of merchandise and grab the Ontario Rat #1 and D2 Steel here. This is a really great... I'm sorry. I amuse myself sometimes. The Rat 1 and D2 steel is one of the better budget beatery sorts of knives out there. I am a big fan of this guy, partly because I think D2 is a nice steel for that, partly because it will still cut, and at the end of the day, it's like 40 bucks. And so I think this is a really nice knife to use, to abuse a little bit, because worst case scenario, you get a new one. If you want something that's a little bit more beefy for beating on, honestly, you're going to be hard-pressed to beat some of Cold Steel's offerings. They're very good at making knives that are pretty safe, meaning that you're really unlikely to injure yourself by doing it. So like the Code 4, etc. But I don't know how much they're running these days. So there you go. Pardon me. Elma Lobo says, what about a good beater watch? Casio F108, case closed. Case freaking closed. The simple fact is that this is all the watch you need, and you could buy 12 of them for the price of any other watch I could recommend as a beater. So this is just a really great beater watch. Or a G-Shock is a good beater choice as well. But this is just so damn good and so damn cheap, and no matter what you do to it, it's like 12 bucks, so chances are you'll be okay. J.M. Rouse asks, do I regret not EDCing the Z-Hunter at the wedding? No, not really. You know, as much as I like the Z-Hunter, it's not all that classy of a choice for actually, you know, that's a big life event. There's a lot going on in the wedding. No! Bad! Go away! I thought I banished him. Anyways, no, it's not a great choice for the wedding. I'm very happy that I went with the good old-fashioned classy GEC. And I think the fiance is too. Although it would be pretty entertaining to have wedding pictures with a Z-Hunter hanging out the side. Anyways, back at the ranch. Has anyone ever told me I sound like Mort Goldman, the pharmacist from Family Guy? Hey, Peter! See, I can do a little bit more of it, but I'm not quite there, guys. I get Mo Sislak from The Simpsons on a regular basis as well. Like, have you ever held two knives? I have. It's pretty fantastic. See, I get that one a lot. Who else do I get regularly? I get, I want to say Tony Scullin-Greeny, but that's not it at all. Oh, come on, the comedian, who reads 50 Shades of Grey. Oh, come on, it's killing me here. The Aristocrats? Somebody's going to say it, and then I'll feel better about myself, but I'm tip of the tongue on him. That sounds really wrong, actually. Sislak Bowie. That's Gilbert Gottfried. Thank you very much, Sully Van. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I get that one a lot. But, yeah, other than that, let's see here. Paul Greenwood, if I had to be a Star Wars character, who would I be? Let's see here. Okay. Like, at some level, let's be real here. I would like to be somebody like super, oh my god, incredible badass. You know, I'd love to be freaking Yoda or something like that. But practically speaking, I think I'm Luke Skywalker. The reason for that is that, A, I'm kind of whiny. Let's be real here. We got to admit this. Luke Skywalker is a whiny little bitch, and I have whiny little bitch hands. So it kind of works out. I eventually go on, you know, I do some teaching. So, you know, like Luke Skywalker in the extended universe, there's some teaching involved. I have huge freaking daddy issues. And so I think that makes me a very much Luke Skywalker-y. I do have kind of a thing for sabers. This is true, although not saber grinds. But yeah, so Luke Skywalker's a pretty good bet. There were some other folks that I think, and let's be real here, I'm basically married Mara Jade. She's not like an assassin, but that's an extended universe sort of thing right there. But there are so many similarities there that it's really hard to object to that comparison. So ultimately, am I in love with my sister? No, I'm an only child, so I guess maybe? I don't know. So yeah, anyways, there you go. Let's see here. Make sure to pick up a lightsaber without a pocket pecker. As a kid, I actually bought, with my own freaking allowance, back in the day when remote controls were a thing, we did it with the IR, infrared blasters and whatnot. Universal remotes were, I guess they're still a thing, right? I had a lightsaber remote control where it was shaped like a lightsaber, and the on-off switch on the saber turned on and off the TV. Then there were little, I totally had that, and it would make lightsaber sounds when you change a channel. That was spectacular. So, yeah. Kyle KV are you sure I'm an only child? Maybe separated at birth to protect the identity. Maybe one of you guys is my brother or sister out there, and you've never seen my face, so you just don't know. But practically speaking, I really hope I'm an only child, because, yeah. In another life, Nick would cosplay hard. Steve, in this life, Nick would cosplay hard. I will be honest, I do own a wizard costume, and it's not like the KKK kind. That's a thing. So, yeah, absolutely 100%. Um, Use it to point at the stars on New Year's Eve. Yeah, perfect. That's a good plan. Absolutely takes me to super nerd status, as if I wasn't there already. Let's see here. What's my favorite movie knife? BLC Black Belt asks. His is the Kabar from Rambo. Star Wars lightsaber, guys. I mean, seriously. Although that's not necessarily a movie knife. A movie knife? God, I don't actually even know. Like, it's weird. I'm a knife person. I have but there aren't that many great knives in movies outside of like the fixed blade world. Um, I'm trying to think. Like, I'd love to have a monomolecular blade knife, but that's not a movie. Actually, that's the Hyperion Canthos by Dan Simmons. But yeah, no, I don't. No shirt. I am Nick Shabazz's long lost sister. Nice. Why does he say Kabar like that? Oh, that's right. It's supposed to be K-bar. There you go. But yeah. Bass Reaper asks, what made you not EDC my Norseman or Rask on the wedding day? That's a good question. Why didn't I? You know, at some level, I was trying to be a little bit classier than I actually am, so I think this was a nice choice. But also, partly, I was wearing slacks, and this guy is a big, heavy freaking knife. And also, I was not, I was traveling at the time, so, yeah, it's kind of a thing. So, yeah, there you go. What do we have here? Get a Valerian steel blade. That would be awesome. Nick, Spyderco Roadie, you live in the UK, need a good EDC. Yeah, absolutely 100%. I don't actually, I think this is that this is legal in the UK. I see no reason why it wouldn't be. But this is a really great knife for the UK. Frankly, it's a really great knife for pretty much anywhere. So the Spyderco Roadie is just an absolutely excellent choice, 100%. Let's see here. I have no idea what that's talking about there. Hillbilly Heath says, talk about GEC knives. I'd love to, but they're not available, so I can't talk about them. I joke, but GECs are just, they're great knives, but they're such a pain in the ass to buy. No one makes them. I mean, like GEC makes them, but it's like, well, we made 10 of them. Here you go. Buy one on eBay after they all sell out in 10 minutes. Freaking ugly. No knife is legal in the UK now. I don't believe that to be the case, but I hope not. Jim Ramsey Corey asks, show the tactical spork. Jim, those are actually, I have one in my office at work, and I have one in my kitchen. And so, unfortunately, they're not on the table at the moment. But do I have the tactical chopsticks over here? No, I do not. But the tactical spork is a beautiful thing, 100%. Jacob Dowse asks, thoughts on the mini Benchmade Crooked River? You know, I think it'll be better than the regular size one, at least for my taste. The regular size one was just a little bit too freaking big. I'm sorry, it was massively too freaking big. It was a little bit unwieldy, etc. So I think the mini may be a better choice for a lot of people. But it's, you know, it should be a fine knife. I've not handled one yet. Night Squats, thoughts on Frankie and Bird's dogs? They are adorable. Absolutely great. I really wish that they got a little more camera time than they do. I would love to see pug reviews out of Frankie and Bird. Absolutely 100%. Mr. Stabby, who do you like better, Frankie or Bird? That's like asking you to choose among your kids. I mean, everyone's got a favorite, but no one's going to tell you. Anyways, there you go. Manix too, a Shaman. If I had to pick one, Shaman all day, every day. I like this knife better. Flat out. I've held them both at the same time, and I like the Shaman better. This is just a great freaking choice. Do I own any self-defense knives like the Benchmade SOC P-Dagger or Fox Knives Karambit? No, not really. I don't tend to advocate knives for self-defense, and you really, in that kind of situation, want something that's really, I don't know, you want robustness, you want something dependable, you want something truly, no, go away, Z Hunter. Sorry, I couldn't resist. No, I'm not a big fan of knives for self-defense. The best knife for self-defense is a pair of running shoes and a whole bunch of training. That's the bigger thing. So there you go. Richard Bonner says, my questions never get answered. That's right, Richard. It's personal. Except I don't know what your questions are, so ask him again. Maybe I'll answer them. Delica versus Chaparral. That's a great question, and that's a really hard answer these days. FRN Chaparral, Spyderco Delica. He's around here. So here we go, Spyderco Delica. I just don't know anymore. I can't say it out loud. I yeah. All right, sorry guys. Nick Swan Kaiser Matanzas, Stony Lonesome, you are gonna love tomorrow's review. Oh my God, is it gonna bring you joy? Let's see here. Any suggestions to fix lock stick on the titanium frame lock flipper with a steel insert? A steel insert really shouldn't have lock stick. If that sticks around over time, send the knife home. That's a problem. Let's see here. Have I picked up knives from garage sales? Yes. I have an EC Knives Laser Strike, which is a much cooler name than the knife actually is. It's a freaking pry bar. But I got it really cheap at a garage sale once, so there you go. Dankest knife. Let's see here. Oh, what's a dank freaking knife? Okay, so if you're in a really dank environment, I would be tempted to go with a knife like this little guy right here. This is the Spyderco Salt Ladybug here. And I feel like this is really great for dank environments because in like a dank, musky sort of situation, the steel here isn't going to rust. The plastic is going to be visible even in the dark, even in the dankness there. And so I feel like if you're really looking for a knife that's great for dank environments, this is going to be the choice, 100%. Thanks very much for the question there, buddy. Let's see here. What do we got here? Yeah, a bunch of people are angry with me. Hopes and predictions for Blade. Stormonzo, I mentioned this briefly, but I'll go a little further here. I'm hoping to see something worth a damn out of ZT. What I mean by that is that everything that they released at the start of the year was just derivative. I hope that they do something new and interesting. That would be really, really nice to see ZT like come out, guns blazing, so that not like in the, but like really come out strong at Blade Show and show something incredible. They need that right now because holy crap are they behind the game. I want to see something new from Kershaw, ideally. Although, frankly, a lot of the stuff they announced at the start of the year isn't out yet, so yeah. Maybe Benchmade will drop something nice. That'd be cool. Although usually we find out pretty soon, and they just drop the MPR and the other stuff, so that's tough to say. I don't know. I feel like a lot of what's out there is already kind of out there. And a lot of what I'm waiting for right now are things that are already in progress. The Techno 2, the Python from Spyderco, both of those. What else am I waiting for? That new freaking thing out of... I hope Olamic does something crazy. That'd be nice. They just did a 247 with a Tonto blade that, oh my freaking God, yes. Put that in my pocket right now. Olamic, take my money. But anyways, yeah. Jay Blake asks... why wasn't the Ferrum Forge Gent not a gem? The Ferrum Forge Gent was not a gem for exactly one reason. The lack of jimping on the back of the flipper tab. That right there made that knife just, it was a point of enough friction. It was just like, nah, not quite there. V2 could easily be a gem, but no, not yet. Let's see here, what else? Budget sharpening system for unsteadily noodly finger hands. Maybe the Lansky or actually the... Spyderco Shopmake is not a bad choice. I think it's a nice... Yeah, I'd probably go Lansky or Shopmake. Hehoff is asking, is a point of not enough friction, eh? Yeah, nice one, Burley. I appreciate that. Hehoff33 says, Koenig Arius or Olamic 247. They're very different knives. They're very different knives. The Arius is a big, beautiful blade. The Wayfarer is a much more compact, murdery blade. It's really, that's kind of an apples or oranges thing. They're both excellent, though. They're both absolutely spectacular. They're just very different. Let's see here. Sorry, guys. Who would I want to make the next Razor asked Mobius Sphere? That would be ZT. Absolutely 100%. ZT does great work. They make things in America. I think that would be a good fit for... And frankly, the Razor is a good fit for their brand on the whole. I think ZT, built like a tank, the Razor, that would work well. And frankly, it's a knife that doesn't really matter that it's ground very thick. So I think that's the best choice there. Wife review coming. Like I said, just got to get off the honeymoon period. Chebarkov. Never actually handled them, but I'm told they're good. Let's see here. The Treddy 7 Ready Knife Reviews has done a bunch of Chebbies. Thoughts on the SNEC stuff and the upcoming CKF? I want it. Because it's weirdly assembled, and that's a really good way to get something on my table, is to do something weird. So yeah. Let's see here. What happened to the burn mark on my mat? Right here, buddy. That is from me being not a brilliant man. So yeah. Thoughts on the Rolex Explorer, Lucas? Are you trying to hurt me here? So guys, look. Right now, of all times in my life, I should not buy a Rolex. I really shouldn't. There is no practical reason for me to buy a freaking Rolex. None. Zero. I have wonderful watches, up and freaking down. I have one of the best quartz watches out there, the Casio freaking Oceanus. One of the best Swiss quartz watches out there, the freaking Breitling Aerospace. I have one of the best mechanical watches in the world, it's the Omega Planet Ocean. I have zero reason that I would ever buy a no-date, two-hand, well, I guess it's a three-hand, time-only timepiece that's made of steel. There is no freaking reason that I want a Rolex Explorer. Yet, here I am. Here I am. It tempts me. It calls to me. From the void. The void, which is where you fall into if you get into watches. So don't get into watches. But it calls to me from the void. I hear its siren song saying, Nick, Nick. That's the Rolex Explorer calling out to me, Nick, I am very robust for a mechanical watch. I'm like, no, jackass, you're not as robust as quartz. But yet it still calls. It says, Nick, Rolex is the brand everyone ever asks you to take the reviews of, so if you do me, they'll shut up. And I'm like, no, buddy, no, I can't do that because you're really expensive. And then it calls out, it's Nick, I'm only 39 millimeters, so I'm going to work okay on your little bitch hands. And it's like, no, I have lots of small knives that work okay in my little bitch hands. I'm okay. And then it's like, Nick, I don't even know what else. You can get us a bit of a discount working with a buddy. Oh, and it's breaking me down. So of all of the people in the world and all of the times in the world that I should be considering a Rolex Explorer, this is not it. But yet here I am. And it actually does not help at all that I have a team of dedicated jackasses trying to tempt me into doing this. I have Patreon patrons who are trying to help me take these kinds of bets. Oh, Nick, of course, if you buy me, you're not going to take a huge bath because Rolex tends to hold on to value, it says. And again, I struggle. And so anyways, and then I got like my buddy Sid keeps trying to convince me. He's the freaking temptation freaking personified. But anyways, so the Rolex Explorer is an incredible watch. I mean, it's what R.W. Smith, the English watchmaker par freaking excellence, wears because he can't afford to take the time to make one of his own watches for himself. I mean, oh man. So I like very much the Rolex Explorer, and I want to not buy it, but it may end up happening at some point in time. Nick, if you have me on your honeymoon, you'll always remember me fondly in that way because you'll be wearing it on your honeymoon and you'll be exploring shit. No, bad Rolex, go away. But I have this temptation. These things keep coming back to me. They haunt me. No, bad Sea Hunter. So, yeah, I am being haunted by the Rolex Explorer. That's just the thing. Yeah. Anyways, that's beside the point. I may have gone off on a little bit of a tangent there. It's really, really hard to say. Let's see here. Bass Reaper asks, Bass Reaper, I suppose, unless you actually are a fisherman, in which case you are kind of the Reaper for bass. Do you plan on reviewing any of Jim Skelton's custom knives? If he does a folder, maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. Mostly because I don't really like fixed blades. They're not a big thing for me. And then, yeah. I don't know. It's really custom. They're expensive, etc. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Let's see here. Good Lord, Nick, what are your thoughts on socialism and other solutions for uneven distribution of wealth? Caleb Mills. That's a really, really excellent question. Hold on, let me formulate my thoughts properly here. Actually, hold on just a second. Okay, so I just looked out my back window into a forested region. And out there, I'm seeing a big old freaking felled tree. This tree must have been like 30 or 40 feet tall when it was standing. And so, in theory, I could take that tree and I could put it onto a lathe, and then I could turn that tree over and over and over again until I ended up with a pole. And that pole would it'd probably be like 30 or 40 feet, maybe. And even with that 30 or 40 feet pole, I am not fucking touching that question. So, nice try, though. I appreciate it very, very much. Let's see here. Sorry. And now the comments have gone political. Has my favorite mid-range price knife changed at all? No, not particularly. Although I don't know what the mid-range is anymore, guys. I mean, because in the knife world, look, you've got all kinds of things out there. If you're willing to consider like the lowest of the low end to be like the $8 to $12 open L, then okay, cool. There you go. But what's your high end? Is your high end, $1,000 Shirogorov? Oh, maybe a $700 Shirogorov sold in $1,000 to the U.S. Or is your high end a Shabazz at $500? I mean, mid range really depends on the range that you're talking about here. Is it against a Ron Best custom flipper for $5,000? Is it against a Grimsmo Norseman? I mean, what is the mid-range? So it's really hard to say. But a good way to figure out what knives I think are really great at different price points is to look at nickshabazz.com/reviews and, just sort by gem status. You'll handle that. So there you go. That's a good thing there. Knife prices have gone nuts, Steve Rasmussen says. They're getting higher every day. That's a good question. But, in terms of a good mid-range choice, if somebody just says, Nick, I've got like $80 to spend, and $90 to spend on a knife, which I think is probably a mid-rangey thing for a lot of people, the Spyderco Chaperone is a really, really hard-to-beat sort of choice, the FRN one. This is really, really good. The only time where I wouldn't recommend it is if you're looking for something that is very durable and beefy, because this guy has a very thin blade. That means it actually cuts things, but yeah. Or the Spyderco Native 5 is really nice in that price range. The Mini Freak, the Benchmade Grip, things like that. The Kershaw Dividend is a really nice choice, especially if you get it like M390 or S35VN like this guy is. There's some really incredible choices out there. So yeah. Let's see here. Paul X asks, donates $5 to ask, if a woman is pregnant and goes swimming, is she a submarine? That's an excellent question. Let's put it this way. There are many questions that I don't think humans are going to be able to answer, and that is among them. Again, speaking of things, I got that 30-foot pole. Fetal personhood is another thing that I'm not touching with that. So that is absolutely excellent. Steve Rasmussen says, well, only if she swims under the water. That's a good point there. Then if she gives birth, is that a torpedo? I don't know. Anyways, beside the point entirely. Moving on. If you could design a knife, what steel would you use, says J. Blake S23. Really depends on the price point. Ideally, it'd be like M390 or probably S35VN would be my first choices. That's probably the way I'd go for it. Let's see here. Dean W6 LC200N is a really nice choice as well. Actually, I'm a big fan of that. Let's see. The Hunt for Red Momtoba. Adding on to the design question, what handle material? Probably titanium of some variety, although micarta would be really nice as some kind of a wood inlay. I think that'd be great. Let's see here. What do you think of Hamilton watches? They're a great way to get a field watch that's way cheaper than the Rolex Explorer, which is calling to me. Let's see here. Amber is just helpfully pasted in the definition of submarine from a dictionary. I appreciate that, Amber. That didn't actually get to the root of the question, but nonetheless, you're the kind of guy you want to have in a meeting. Let's see here. But Hamilton actually does nice work. They use good movements. They finish them reasonably well. None of them particularly appeal to my style necessarily, but if you're looking for a mechanical field watch, you can do a lot worse than Hamilton. Absolutely 100%. Why do you hate coated blades? Asks Sullivan. That's a good question. This is a nice example of a coated blade here, as is. Do I I have any other coated blades on the table? This is a ProTech half-breed. I am doing a series, by the way, and it's not quite finished because I don't have all the knives here. But Jim Ramsey Corey says, well, because they're ugly. That's a good bet there, Jim. But I'm doing a series, actually, on California legal automatic knives. So I've got the ProTech Runt here, I've got the half-breed here, and I'm working on getting a Sprint. All of these, by the way, are coming to me by Hellacious Blades. They are a small company out of South Carolina, a small knife store. They've been very, very helpful here in sending some of these guys along as review samples. That's been awesome of it. But anyways, so I've got a couple of these Cali legal autos around, but this anyway has a coated blade. I don't tend to love coated blades because they tend to show wear, and frankly, they're a little bit high-speed, low-drag operating for me. Not a big fan of that. So yeah, let's see here. Do I still own my Holt Spectre? Asks Vextos. I do not at the moment, actually. I ended up, because I have too many damn knives, and that was a lot of money to keep tied up in one. But it's a very real possibility that I will own the next generation of Holt Spectre there. Let's see here. That blade-to-handle ratio. Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's the point here. It's called the half-breed because it is a ProTech Sprint blade inside of a ProTech Newport handle. So it's designed to be very ergonomic, or at least reasonably ergonomic. Full review of this guy coming up here soon. Well, at the same time being California legal. So there you go. Is 3 inches big? It really depends on who you ask and how much she likes you. So that's a great question. Let's see here. Matthew Forrest asks, am I vegetarian? Yeah, this has been pretty well established. But vegetarianism is a big mistake. Okay. That's beside the point. Why is bra singular and panties plural? J.M. Rouse, that's one of those other questions that I think may be lost to the ages. What else do you have here? Spyderco Southern Hayden on Instagram, any sneak peeks? Well, here it is. But I have a full first impressions video up. Check that out. Let's see here. Hey, Nick, I am awesome. Thank you, Carbuff204. I appreciate that. I don't always agree, but I do my best. Let's see here. Would it be legal to screw up a Microtech and shorten the blade in California? Sullivan, that's a good question. The thing is, I am not a lawyer. And ultimately, whether or not something is legal is entirely a function of how much the cop is pissed off at you. Flat out, and probably what color you are, which is often related to that. But anyways, you know, something very well could be, I'm sure somebody would find a way to charge you with something or another if you piss off the cop. So I wouldn't count on it necessarily, but hopefully it won't be a thing. Harry Wu says, have you heard about Derek Bone of Knives Ship Free passing away? Yeah, unfortunately that's true. So Derek Bone is a a YouTuber. He was the founder of KnivesShipFree.com, the reviver of the Northwoods Knives series, and all around a pretty great guy. I only met him once briefly at Blade Show, and he didn't know he met me, but that's fine. But, you know, he's done a lot of good things for a lot of people in the community, and so I really am saddened by his loss. And my thoughts are with his family every damn day in this, and they're being really strong, being really classy. Still getting Knives Ship Free newsletters and such, but oh man, was that a kick in the guts. Real big shame about that. But yeah, that's kind of a thing. Do I have a favorite YouTube channel? Well, definitely not this one. But what else would be a favorite? I'm loving a bunch of them. I am a big fan of A-Bomb. Oh God, what are the numbers? ABOM, I want to say it's 74. Somebody who knows who I'm talking about, post it in the freaking comments. But he's a machinist, and he's so freaking genuine. I mean, maybe it's entirely an act, but he's a really good actor if he is. But I just love the fact that he just nerds out on machining stuff and just completely, like, he will just spend 3 weeks reassembling a shaper and polishing all the parts. That's the nerdiest damn thing ever, but he loves it. And he's just he's awesome. And so I'm a big fan of A-Bomb and his work. Let's see here. Who else do I like a lot? Dr. Frunky is pretty damn good. I'm a fan of his. He's another knife YouTuber. Who else? Oh, God. See, now I'm having my YouTube problems but I have a whole list of my favorite EDC channels over on the YouTube here. It's a whole playlist. I want to say it's A-Bomb 79. So yeah, God, of course, Pete, Cedric A to Gear and Outdoors. He's incredible. He's better at this than I am. It's probably why I forgot, because I'm like super jealous of his skills. So, yeah, that's great. Advanced Knife Throw is also a gem. He's completely crazy. Hydraulic Press Channel. I freaking love that guy, because he is just this Finnish jackass with his inescapable glee for jackassing. He, like, uses a hydraulic press in the way that most people use a Colt Steel or Spot XL. So that would be pretty excellent. Birdshot IV, of course. But yeah, let's see here. Thank you very much, Abdul Aziz. I'm a big subscriber from Saudi Arabia. I have a big influence on your knife purchases. Thank you, Abdul. Big fan of that. Let's see here. What is my favorite locking mechanism? By count, probably the frame lock. I have the most of them. I really do like the compression lock. I think it's a really great choice. Where's my freaking Shaman? This is just, it's such a great mechanism in so many ways. Button locks are great. I mean, axis locks are great. There are so many good choices, it's hard to put my finger on one of them. Actually, it's not true. Watch. Now watch, I'm going to put my finger on the locking mechanism. Hold on. Oh, yeah. That was pretty easy right there. Yeah, sorry. But have a good night there, Paul. Can we get a Voyager on the table? Can we now? We can, and we must. The Voyager is always lurking in the background there. It is absolutely not the most ridiculous knife that's on my table, but it is absolutely a very ridiculous knife on the table. So, yeah, check out Jake's Custom Knives. Never heard of him. Hey, Josh, good to see you. Nice recurve, bro. That's the thing. Like, I put this down on the table without really looking at it, without truly understanding it. Yeah. Do I still have the Fractal Master knife? Sadly, that was a loaner. I should have just bought it. Let's see here. Let's see. Is he on the turtle head poking out? Prairie dogging over here. I miss prairie dogs. Wish I had a hummingbird to put next to that, indeed. Although, actually, here. Size comparison. Spyderco Ladybug. Perfect. Yeah, there you go. Why does that have a pocket clip? This is much like the, is a pregnant woman swimming a submarine? A question that we may never be able to answer. Please share some wedding photos with your fans. Maybe. I'm actually still waiting to get wedding pictures back from the photographer, but maybe we'll find a way to do something like that. Let's see here. Actually, guys, it has been an hour and 15 minutes here, so I appreciate very, very much everybody who's stopped in, everybody who's donated, everybody who's been really freaking kind in the chat, and everybody who's told the jackasses what for. But thank you so much for stopping in, everybody. I hope you found this enjoyable, that you have yourselves a wonderful rest of the day, that you don't buy a Rolex Explorer no matter how much it calls to you, that nothing terribly embarrassing happens to you anytime soon, and that you have yourselves just an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.